I am Anatoliana Chalisova, and this is Patriots Must Rise. As you know, there's been a lot of resistance from the left as President Trump retakes the White House. Part of it is Matt Gaetz stepping down as the nominee for the Attorney General. This is a very important position for President Trump because without somebody loyal as the chief law enforcement officer of the nation, he can't get rid of the deep state. And that's exactly what the left intended when they bullied him into stepping down. The View flat out said that he was a pedophile. Sonny on The View said that he was being looked into for human trafficking and pedophilia. Ironically, the legal team of The View actually made her read a retraction on air, which never happened in the 20 years that I have been introduced to The View. Never happened. The network would have supported anything that they said as long as it was against a conservative politician. That support seems to be going to the wayside. I don't know, is it possible that the lack of support for The View happens to be in the wake of the network being sold? I believe it's very possible. But whether or not that actually has anything to do with where we're at in the political landscape of this nation remains to be seen. What we do know is the Democrats are fighting amongst themselves. A recent Congress thing, I'm not going to call it a man or a woman because I don't even know how it wants to identify, and I don't want to offend anybody. So I'm just going to call it an alien piece of garbage. Was elected this last general election. So another Democrat, female activist, feminist activist, self-proclaimed, decided to try to pass a bill that no male whether or not they identify as a female or not, will be going into a female restroom in a public space. Obviously, I'm all for that. I am completely for that. In fact, I've said it over and over again that if a man tries to go into a female restroom, they need to be met outside the door with sledgehammers and have every bone in their body broken so you can fold them up and put them in a wood chipper. And that's being nice. I said nothing about the fragmentation grenade that would be shoved up his ass. But that's just me. Obviously, America is a little bit more civilized than I am. I mean, after all, we just watched a mock trial, and I call it a mockery because it is, where Lincoln Riley's murderer and would-be rapist was allowed to go to trial. This is an undocumented, illegal immigrant, has no rights in America, and yet we're still giving him a trial. This maggot, this piece of garbage parasite was actually allowed to be sentenced to multiple consecutive life sentences. Some with possibility of parole, others without, but that's the best they could do. Why is it the best we could do? It's not even human. It's a rapist. It's a murderer. Why is it the best that we can do in this civilized culture when we know from the past that we cannot rehabilitate them? We shouldn't even try. And the executioner's axe should be sitting there right there in the courtroom. Why has America gotten so soft that we have forgotten our roots? What is wrong with our system? What is wrong with the people that make up our system? Why are we willing to allow people that will never provide for themselves, that have been rejected from every country in the world, to come across our southern border and turn America into a penal colony once again? Poland has a right answer. Gatling guns every 40 feet, every 50 feet, whatever it is. Automated robotic sensors on a motion detector, so they can be unmanned and still shoot the target down, building the wall for themselves. I read last night while I was at work that Poland is executing illegal immigrants that are shoplifting. I don't know if it's true yet, but I'm on board with it because they're illegal immigrants. They have no documentation, nobody will miss them, and they don't belong in the country. People would call this bigoted. No. We know who they are. We know that these are the criminals that no other country wants. So why are we forced to take them? So the other countries can claim that they took the higher road and they're not executing the scum that should be executed? If we want to stop the border crisis, we need to stop with the political rhetoric and make the rest of the world terrified to come to America. Terrified. Put it on live television as we boil them in oil and they're screaming for their lives as their legs are slowly being dissolved and the rope is lowering so their body gets more contact with the oil. It would be a really good deterrent from anybody wanting to come into America. The sign should say, "You're not welcome," because you're not. The process has always been, you have to learn English first. You have to be able to prove that you can actually provide a service that betters the American society. Who actually believes that any of these people that are coming over the border since the Biden administration and before that the Obama administration, what percentage are actually rocket scientists, doctors, accountants, construction workers? I honestly can tell you that the odds are a lot better that the percentage of them being terrorists and thugs to be a reality. Anyway, I just want people to think about this stuff because we're entering the third week since the election, and Pennsylvania is still counting their votes. There is no reason in the 21st century that, number one, America would be using paper ballots at all. Number two, there is no reason that the digital ballot can't be counted in a nanosecond. Like Dancing with the Stars. Or any other of those talent shows on television where the audience votes. Very hard to screw up a vote or cheat when the vote is actually being tallied in real time. Seriously. The only reason that Pennsylvania is taking so long is so they can cheat. Because that's what Democrats do. There has never been a period of history that they didn't protest an election. They started the Civil War over a disagreement about who was elected president. This bullshit about it being about slavery, read a book. They They stole the very first election that their party ever won. They stole it with a shot in the back during a duel. So, yeah, that's ancient history. Andrew Jackson, Aaron Burr, very well known. But you might want to think about it. You might want to think about the fact that they're the ones that have killed every president that they have disagreed with throughout our history. So, if we want to get rid of a deep state, we need to get rid of a Democrat Party. And I don't care how we do it. I really don't. If that means making it so it would be illegal for a Democrat to ever put the word Democrat on a ballot, I'm fine with that. But I'm equally fine with taking a tire iron to anybody that ever voted for a Democrat. I'm just saying. Think about it. What kind of evil does it take? What kind of evil does it take for an entire party to embrace the murder, the intentional murder in the first degree, compounded by conspiracy to commit murder of a mother's own child? Think about it. That's a very evil thing. And when you get into the conspiracy to commit, what kind of mental gymnastics do you have to actually do to justify working in that kind of industry? I can't do it, and I don't think any of you can. So, yeah, if I was ever to run for office, the first thing that I would do is retroactively prosecute anybody that was ever in the abortion industry, and anybody that was on the books as receiving an abortion. Anyway, that's what I have for today. I hope I gave you some stuff to think about. I hope you enjoy the show. In the upper corner, there's a QR code that allows you to donate to support the show. I hope you do. Until next time, live free, die well, and love your neighbor as Christ has loved you. I'm Anatoliana Chalisova, and this is Patriots Must Rise.